everybody, Susan here. Welcome to another episode of KNITLIB, the podcast. Coming to you from Calgary, Alberta, Canada, where today it is currently a sunny, slightly cloudy April day. Today is April something. I don't know what day it is. April 6th? April 6th. Let's say April 6th. Yeah, it's just another day. I'm coming to you from my little art studio that I'm in right here. And yeah, I got some stuff to share with you today. Apologies in advance for any ambient noise in order to appease the cat god. That is Jessup. I've had to open up the patio door so that he can listen to all the sounds and the birds and all the people that are still going up and down the street. Anyway, yeah. How are you guys? How are you doing? It's been a little while since I did the last episode, probably just over a week or so. Maybe 2. Yeah. Things are weird. Yeah, you know things are weird. If things are weird where I am, they're definitely weird where you are. Yeah, so I've been knitting up a giant storm, and surprisingly, I've been knitting a lot, to the point where actually my elbow has started acting up again. And I don't know if that's like a combination of knitting a lot, but also just sitting with my phone like glued up into my nose, or it might also be the way that I hold the Switch controllers, which my partner Ryan has. I was complaining to him that my elbow hurts, and I'm like, maybe it's from playing so much Animal Crossing, and he's like, well, you gotta put the controllers like low, like this. And I'm like, you're not supposed to play with them like right up to your face. Oh my gosh, guys, no wonder my elbows hurt. It's because I'm constantly pulling everything in when I should be letting everything go out. Anyway, so yeah, in order to take a bit of break from knitting today, I thought I would record a podcast. I have a cup of coffee inside this giant mug, which I don't know who it's a Blue Moon Pottery. I think that they're out of BC. You could fit your face in there. It's like a full face mug. Yeah. I'm drinking coffee. I just ran a couple of errands this morning to go get more sugar because we were all out of sugar, which is, a nightmare. And I drink my coffee black. I don't drink milk or soy milk or any other kind of milk alternative. I don't drink anything white. Yeah, that's just one of my things. So I do like to put sugar in my coffee though, and we were running dangerously low in sugar. Yeah, so I had to go and get some sugar, and that was another nice to leave the house a little bit. I had to go to Canadian Tire, which is basically like a little hardware store type of thing. We have one located very close to where I live in the downtown core. And so my dad had actually ordered me stuff to go get picked up there because he's incredibly sweet. So I went over to pick it up, and I'm like, all right, if we're gonna brave, as I've been calling it, brave the upside down and go outside and be in public, and which I don't like to do anymore. I just stay home all the time now, which is good. That's what we're supposed to be doing, right? So anyway, I go over there to pick up the order, and the people behind the counter are like, "Oh, that's in the tower," and I'm like, "The tower? What do you mean the tower?" So they pointed to like outside of the store in the hallway close to where the escalators are. there was this great big weird black thing that's like had a touch screen on it, and it was huge. Like, I don't know, it felt like it was really tall, like at least it was at least 10 feet tall, and if not taller. And I scanned the QR code that I had on my phone in the little phone scanner thing, and suddenly there was this like whirring noise, and then an elevator like brought down a tray that had my bag on it with my purchases inside of it. And I really, there was like, I don't know about anybody else, but like I've always loved sci-fi, specifically like speculative fiction and all that stuff. And there have been a lot of weird, uncanny moments lately where I'm like, I feel like I'm in a book I'm reading, or I'm like in an episode of Star Trek or something. It's kind of, I don't know. That was one of those moments. That was definitely one of those moments. So yeah, anyway, got my stuff, got my sugar, got a sweet deal on Cadbury mini eggs. So who's probably gonna make mini egg pancakes later? Well, this girl, because I'm a grown-up and I can eat whatever I want for supper. I am totally digressing. I hope you guys don't mind. All right, we're gonna get into some of the knit stuff. I'm gonna start off first with what I'm wearing, which is I'm wearing a completely handmade outfit today. I actually kind of upscaled my pajamas situation. So I am wearing on my head, this is a knit turban style, like tie style hat, and shoot, who's it by? I know the pattern is called Chains of Love. I'll put down below who the actual, who the designer is. I think her last name's Appel. Could be wrong though. I made this a couple years ago. It is the turban that totally screwed up my thumb for a long time because I knit it so quickly, and it caused a repetitive stress and arthritis to come out in my thumb. Worth it though, because when your hair is kind of a hot mess because it hasn't been cut since January, it's a good way to hide everything. I'm also wearing the Ripple crop top worsted by Jessie Maed of Jessie Maed Designs, and yeah, this is the first iteration I did. It's super low, so this is not something that I typically wear. This is not a work sweater. This is a stay home sweater because yeah, it's low and it's short. I really love it though. It's really comfortable. And I'm also wearing a high-waisted, elastic-waisted skirt that has fluff all over it. It's made in this like wool boucle fabric, and it's a straight skirt, like pencil skirt, and I really like it. It has enough flexibility in it for me to move comfortably, and with the heavier, it's kind of like it has a very minimal stretch to it, and it's almost like a coating. Like, it would be better, I've seen this fabric used for coats, but I've used it for a skirt, and I really like it. It does pill like a hot damn though, so that's the only thing. I need to get out my sweater shaver thingamajig. Anyway, so yes, that's what I'm wearing. Feeling pretty good. Let's talk about knitting, hey? I have some partially finished objects to share with you today. Since I last connected with you, I decided to cast on for a pair of mittens that I've had moving around my brain for the last forever, and I wanted a new pair of fingerless mitts, and I wanted to write a pattern that would use stash stuff. So basically marling with 2 fingering weight yarns. All you need are a whole lot of scraps in order for this to work. The first iteration I did is right here. And you can see this is a good first iteration, but there are some issues with it. So I mean, it looks okay as it is, as it stands. This is, what are the yarns that are held together with this? We have this one right here, which is this gold. This is Lascaux Fine by Ancient Arts Yarns, and the colorway is, I don't remember the colorway, but it's gold. Gold. So paired that with this right here, which is another gold pink kind of yarn. This is Hedgehog Fibers Sock in the colorway Fool's Gold, and the result is this lovely fabric. So this mitten, my whole idea for knitting a new fingerless mitten is that it needs to be skinny enough to fit, or like fitted enough to fit my narrow hands. My wrist around here is 6 inches in around, which is like really, really skinny. And my hand around the widest part right here is right at 7 inches. And so I needed something that will fit that, because having narrow hands and long hands is that most things don't fit me. If I need things to fit me in the length, they're going to be way too big and wide. So that's why I always tend to make my own mittens and everything, because I can never find things to fit me. So I concocted this. It has a 2x1 rib right here, and then the overall stitch pattern along here is a linen stitch, so it's an alternating slip stitch pattern. I really love the effect of it. The resulting fabric doesn't have a whole lot of stretch to it, so it kind of makes it nice and fitted. But the problem with this one is that my thumb is way too big. I posted a picture about this on Instagram, and Allison of Allison Barnes Yarns, she was like, you could fit a chicken nugget in there for later. And I'm like, it's the nugget thumb. Yeah, so it's a little too bulky for this one, especially just because of the way I decreased and everything. I mean, it fits fine, but it's not an ideal situation. So I learned a lot from this one, and I took what I learned and I cast on for another one. This one's a lot more successful. This one I use the same Fool's Gold colorway. But then I paired it with this vicious neon pink fingering weight that I had. I was about to say I dyed it myself, but I did not. And I don't know the brand of this. I feel like it very well might be a Manostil Uruguay color. It could be. And it's like old stuff from my stash. But I love the result. The pink is just like, it's such, the camera can't even compute this pink. This pink is insane. But I love the combination of the gold with the pink. And the result, what I changed about this mitten is that I did not do the ribbing at the top of it. I just did a different kind of bind off, and that's the same with the thumb. I changed the construction of the thumb a little bit, so it's a lot less, there ain't no chicken nugget hanging out in there. Yeah, I'm really loving the way that this turned out, and it's nice and fitted. So this one right here, I'm kind of touting as the size small, ish. It's like a small medium, and then I'll do like a medium large. There'll be like 2 different sizes, because the thing with mittens and this type of stuff, it will fit a variety of sizes within there. So it will, you know, this will fit up to, I think if you had a 7.5 inch in diameter, or like around this part of your hand, I think it would fit you as well. Likewise, if you had a smaller hand than mine, a slightly more narrow hand, I think it would fit fairly comfortably too. The next one I'm going to do it for basically a 7.5 to a 9-inch wide hand is going to be the other size. So I really love this, and it knits up really fast, really stupid stinking fast. And it has a really good fitting thumb. I really love the thumb that I made. Anyway, so I'm working on that. I've gotten distracted though since casting these on, so I've been keeping close notes of the pattern and everything, and I'm gonna write up the pattern, and if you are interested, I'm gonna get a handful of people to test knit this. I'm calling them my Mollyfodge mittens. Mollyfodge is a Newfoundland word for lichen, and the linen stitch kind of reminds me of lichen on rocks a little bit. So yes, we're going to, I'm gonna put a call out for test knitters. This is a good spring knit. It's fast. You could probably do the whole pair in under a week, especially if you have nothing else to do. You could probably get one done in one day. I basically knit this one in one day. But anyway, it's probably why my elbows hurt. Yeah, keep an eye out for that. I'll probably do an official post about that for test knitting and everything, more than likely on Instagram. But if you're interested about that, I'm going to endeavor to put up a little call out for that on this platform too, so you guys know. I'll put a little link down below for test knitting this. I don't know. Yeah. But it's a little ways away now, so it'll probably be happening more towards the middle of April is what I'm aiming for. That these will be ready to be test knit. So yeah, keep your eyes peeled. Ears peeled? Ears peeled. That'd be weird. Imagine if your ears were oranges and then you peeled them. Sorry. I have been home for too long, going insane. I've also started doing other knitting. I have completed the body of my party top sweater by Abbyeknits. Unfortunately, she's a little cropped, and it's my fault because I don't know what I was doing. I'm going to blame social isolation because my measurements were totally wrong, and I was supposed to knit the body to be like, 8 inches. I wanted to be 8 inches from the armpit down before I started the 2 inches of ribbing, and I thought I did that. So when I started the ribbing, I realized, oh wait, I'm off by, I only knit the body for like basically 5 inches, 5.5 inches, and then started the ribbing. So, it looks great on, but it is short. So I need to decide what it is I'm going to do with it. But here it is. Look how short that is. What did I do to myself? Oh my gosh. It's short. Let me show you. Okay. It's not, I guess it's not really that much shorter than what this top is, really. But I don't know. I was a little, to be honest, I was disheartened over how short it was. So as soon as I cast it off, I'm like, okay, we're going to throw that aside, and I'm not going to pick up the sleeves yet because I still need to decide if I'm going to make this longer. And if I decide to make it longer, I'm a little screwed because I only have this much yarn. So I can't really make this longer and then make sleeves all at the same time because I only have this much. So decisions have to be made. Yeah. But yeah, this is the party top pattern. Party Top Sweater by Abbyeknits. The yarn that I'm using is from Rosebud River Farms. It is a DK weight, 2-ply, 100% Corriedale hand-dyed yarn in the colorway Tobacco Leaf, and it's really pretty. I do really love the pooling that ended up happening towards the bottom. Yeah, that's really pretty. The yarn itself, it's pretty uneven when you're knitting with it. The fabric is pretty uneven just because the yarn itself is so uneven and all that stuff. I really like the result, but I don't know. Time to move on to other things because I got the great idea to cast on something new, which you can kind of see yarns right here. It was late. Was it late Saturday evening? I was just happened to be looking at Ravelry or Instagram or something. I can't remember what I was looking at, and then I realized that that the Aquamarlite sweater by Park. What's her last name? I can't remember her last name. But Park, she's Park and Knit on Instagram, and she made this beautiful cropped sweater with big balloony sleeves, and she made the original pattern, I think, is for a bulky weight, and then she redrafted it for a DK weight, or fingering weight held double marling situation, fade situation. So I got it in my brain. I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna see if I can knit an entire sweater in 7 days. I can tell you right now that's probably not going to happen because of the way my elbow is acting up. I'm not going to force myself to do any more knitting than I need to. I really wish that I could go get acupuncture, because that usually helps. Or my elbow, it's like tender, all right there. Anyway, yeah, but I had this idea of knitting a sweater really, really fast. So within 7 days, it might be more like 10 days, I think, or something. Anyway, I like the idea of giving myself a bit of a challenge. So, and give me something to focus on for the week, because things are getting a little kooky and weird around here just because days are melting into each other and I don't know what day is what, and I'm going slightly insane. But I digress. So I went shopping in my stash and I pulled out a bunch of skeins to do the Aquamarlite sweater. I'm gonna show you the yarn first, and then I'm gonna show you what I have so far. So the fade that I'm thinking about is to go from a green and fade into purple to like a deep blue. So I'm starting off with this one right here. This is a Madeline Tosh yarn. I think that this is called Hypercolor. I could be wrong though. I can't remember what it's called. I have 2 skeins of it. Here's the other skein. I had initially intended this for a Mount Pleasant tee by Megan Nodecker of Pip and Pin. And I had it partially knit, but then I just ripped it out. I can't remember why. I just ripped it out. But now this yarn is being used again. I've paired this one with this one here, held this double. So this is a Superwash Merino nylon single that I hand dyed myself. And it's just these series of neon greens and blues. Then that one bleeds into this one here. This right here is an old school yarn from Fiber for the People yarns when Taylor, who is the dyer for Fiber for the People, when she first started dyeing and first opened her business, when the Canadian dollar wasn't as depressing as it is now, I ordered a couple of skeins from her, and this was one of them. And it's this beautiful purple. I mean, it's green and has little shots of raspberry purple in there. So these, and then that goes into this one here. Let's see if I can get this out. This right here is, this one is from The Fawn and the Fox, and I think it's called Spooky Times. And it has lime green, neon green, grays, sort of like a purple in there. I'm really into that. See if I can hold them all. And then that goes into this one here, which I ended up getting for free. And I'm fairly certain that it's hedgehog fiber sock. But I don't know the colorway, but I'm fairly certain that's what it is, because the base looks like hedgehog sock, because the hedgehog sock, their fingering base is really light and it has a tendency to split, and that's the same thing as this. And plus the color combinations kind of remind me of hedgehog fibers. So I got this one a couple of years ago. There was a massive drive we had at the library for yarn. We needed yarn because we were building up all of these art program kits and stuff for kids, and amongst them we needed yarn for doing weaving, CD weaving and stuff. So we put a call out for yarn, and we ended up getting a lot. And so I decided to, I was rummaging through it one day trying to find something, and for one of the programs I was doing, and then I saw this one, and then I asked someone, I'm like, do you think I might be able to take this one? Because I know what this one is. So anyway, the people that were in charge said it was okay for me to take it, so I took it. So yay, thank you, random person who donated to the library, because you donated to your local librarian, and she's using it for a sweater that she's going to wear when she goes back to work and serves young, tiny children. So this is the green portion. This gray is going to go into this purple right here. And this purple, I think this is black cat fibers. I got this at Yarn Twisters. I've been holding on to it, trying to figure out what to do with it, and that's, I think, what I'm going to do with it. And that one was going to go into this gently used skein of Malabrigo, right there, in this lovely purple. And then that's going to go into an over-dyed skein here. I think that this is Knit Picks Stroll or something. It's some Knit Picks yarn, whatever I had. Not Knit Picks Stroll. It was like some hand-dyed Knit Picks stuff I ordered a million years ago and really didn't like the color, so I shoved it into a jar and over-dyed it into this purple. So that worked out really well. And then that's gonna go into, can I find it? Into this mystery beautiful, really, really deep, dark teal. And yeah, that's gonna be my sweater. That's gonna be my sweater. I'm really excited about it. The colors, when I was choosing the colors and laying them all out, I was laying them out on the floor and had my little ring light and stuff on, and the colors look so good. And I'm like, oh my gosh, these colors look like, it looks like this was all meant to be together. And my idea for the sweater is for it to start off in green and then fade up into purple, and then the neck the ribbing around the neck and everything be this really deep this deep blue. I think it's going to look really great. And so far, I've cast on, the way the sweater is constructed is that it is bottom up. So you start with the sleeves first and then do the body and then attach everything. And I think that this, doing the sleeves first is a great way to evenly distribute the yarn, because when you're working a fade, so to do the marling fade that I'm doing, which is what Park recommends in the pattern, is that you start off with 2 strands and you just remove 1 strand at a time as you're fading. So in order to ensure that I have equal amounts so that the sleeves are relatively similar and that kind of correspond with the body, I'm more concerned about getting the sleeves okay and matching. The body will look a little bit different still, because the body, you have more stitches, so the pooling is going to be a bit different, and there might end up being a bit more purple and blue on the body. I don't know, we'll see. But do you want to see the sleeve so far? Do you want to see the sleeve over? I'm so excited about it. Look at this. Oh my gosh. So we're up past the elbow. We're almost to the armpit. We're a few inches away from the armpit. Isn't this so much fun? So we have tightly ribbed sleeve here, and then balloons out pretty extreme. I'm so excited about this. I think this silhouette is going to, whoops, sorry about that. Yeah, I think the shaping of this is going to, of this sweater, is going to inject a little bit of new life into me. It's already doing that because the sleeve is just bonkers, and I am so into it. It's just balloony, and there's no shaping except for right here. I'm opting for the sort of fitted, the waist shaping around. I think that's what I'm gonna do. I don't, because they have, like, she has an option for doing something slightly boxier. I think I want it to come in a bit though, just to accentuate how big and voluptuous these sleeves are. Oh, I love it. And the fade, there's the fade. Isn't it great? Oh, all of these colors are just my favorite. I'm putting markers, oops, as I drop stitches here. I'm trying to put markers where I've started and stopped. So the first marker here marks when I cast on and did everything the night that I decided to do it. So, and then from here to here, that's what I did yesterday. And now today, I haven't done too much. I've just added a new color, and I want to try to get this sleeve done today. That's my goal, is to get the sleeve done. And then cast on for the second sleeve. And if I can get those done pretty fast, then the body should be pretty smooth sailing, I think. I really want the weather to get nicer so that I can, like, either sit outside on the patio or go somewhere in knit, because I'm getting really tired of being trapped inside. But anyway, as I'm covered in yarn and all that stuff, that is the project that I'm working on right now. Sewing projects, I have all of these patterns pulled aside to sew, and I just haven't been doing any sewing. The only sewing that I've been doing is, and I think a lot of other sewists are feeling the same way, where I've been sewing the fabric masks. I started doing them probably 3 weeks ago, and just testing out different patterns, and I'm still in the in the test pattern situation. Let me show you the ones I have. So this pattern, I honestly don't remember where I found it. I think it was one of the first videos that came up when I did a search for sewing mask pattern. Yeah, so I have these masks here. This is done with cotton, like a high stitch count, or yeah, high thread count quilting cotton. Right there. It has, I made a shirt out of this. I made shirts out of both of these fabrics actually, because the interior is a fish. I think this is cotton and steel fish fabric. And then this stuff is just stuff I got at Fabricland. It has thorns on it. I really like it. And the idea is you just wrap it around your ears like that, and then suddenly you look like fashion. This one is a little too tight on my ears. They're not bad. I've made a few of them. I've made probably 6 in total. So here's another one, and this one's polka dot on the inside. And this one has some leftover monkey fabric. This is like Tula Pink monkey wrench fabric. I made a Wixton shift dress out of tunic dress out of this stuff. So yeah, I'm making a few of them. I'm still trying to decide on what kind of pattern I want to use. I don't have any elastic. So I have some elastic, but some of it's too wide, and then I have some other elastic that's like underwear elastic that I had specifically chosen for making underwear. Just haven't done that yet. And yeah, and I'm not completely sold on this pattern either. But I'm just, because I had cut out all the pieces for it already, I just decided to sew them all up. I am sewing, I'm trying to sew a bunch of them to give to my family. So, because they had requested it, and it just gives me something to focus on. I am not sewing for the hospitals or anything like that. That kind of labor is not in me. I am only sewing these masks for members of my family and for myself. So, yeah, and then if you're asking what pattern or anything like that, there's so many patterns out there. I've been trying a bunch of them. I'm not sold on any of them, so I'm not going to recommend anything. Sorry guys, I'm not recommending any patterns. The most popular one I think is Craft Passion, and that's a similar shape to the one that I've been making. Yeah, so you can try that out. I don't know. I think the Craft Passion one is pretty good because it comes in different, it's been graded for different face sizes. So there's another pattern, 2 other ones that I want to try that have a lot more shaping in them. So they have like darts to kind of shape around the chin and around the nose, which is what I think I would prefer. So I'm going to give some of those a try eventually. But yeah, trying to get those sewn up so that I can send them in the mail to my family that lives in Nova Scotia, so that they can have fashion masks and all that stuff. In terms of elastic, one of the things that that I discovered when I was researching like masks and stuff, one of the alternatives that they were suggesting for elastic is actually using jersey knit, so like t-shirt material essentially, which is what I did for some of them, although I'm not going to do it for all of them. So you just cut really thin strips and then allow them to, you cut the strip and then you just have to like go like that to cause them to curl in. And so you end up with an elastic-ish You have a bit of a strap that has a bit of stretch to it. So that's an alternative that you can use. I think I'm more inclined to work with patterns that have bias tape to tie around the back, and one of the patterns I discovered had the way they thread the bias tape through. It kind of goes around the back of the head and then goes up around and then ties up here. So there's only one place where you're tying instead of two different places. So I'm gonna give that a try and see how that is. Yeah. I'm hoping if I sew enough masks, if I get this, because I kind of get this out of my system a little bit, that maybe that might bring me back to garment sewing. Maybe? I don't know. It's also really tough for me to sew anything because all of the patterns and the ideas I have are like great work outfits, and I'm not going to work right now. So it's really hard to be motivated to sew cute things because where am I going to wear them? In here? Yeah. That is my dilemma. Yeah. Other things on the... I have an acquisition I want to share with you. So the acquisition that I'm going to share with you came to support the yarn that was gifted to me by Allison of Allison Barnes Yarn. And she sent these 3 beautiful, dreamy, orange, gorgeous skeins. So nice. These are tester colors, so I think they're like one of a kind, maybe something. Oh, it's so nice. It's a superwash merino cashmere nylon worsted weight. It's so pretty and so soft. And I was trying to think, I'm gonna pair it with this DK weight gold color here. This is from Mindville Wool Project, which is just 100% superwash merino. It's not quite as soft as the other two, but it's fine. So I wanted to knit a sweater with this stuff, but I didn't know, I was trying to think of like how to tie them all together because I wanted to do a fade, but I didn't want the fade to be really... The thing with doing single strand fades is that you have to stripe them in order to make it look like they're fading, and if the colors are not that close, it can be kind of chunky, which is not what I wanted. So I decided I wanted to hold it together with mohair, and that's what I got. I got some mohair. My local yarn shop, Stash, they're still doing delivery and pickup orders. They are amazing, and the folks that work there are the bee's knees. And when you order a pickup, they give you this little bag right there, and I have the skeins in here. So this is what... Oh, was this the right color? Maybe I had chosen the wrong color. I'm just realizing that now. This will still work though. It's this is marigold. I thought I was getting this one. How funny. I thought I was getting this gold, but I'm getting this gold. Huh. I think that might work out even better, possibly. Ugh. Dropping everything. So I'm gonna hold this together with these to create a really beautiful fade of some kind. I don't know what yet. I don't know what I'm gonna knit, but it's gonna be pretty, whatever the hell it's gonna be. Yeah, I have to decide. So I have basically like 2, 4, 6. I'll have 800 yards to do a sweater. That's plenty. Do a little crop sweater of some kind. I had to figure out what. I don't know. Someone had suggested you doing the sorrel by Abbyeknits, but I have this thing when people take a fingering weight yarn and then they pair it together with a lace weight mohair and then call it DK. That's not true. Anywho. So these skeins came in. I got 4 of them right in there. So I think that that's going to be pretty freaking great. I think so. Yeah. So that's on my Knit World, Sewing World, that stuff. Not a whole lot done on my punch needle. I'll get back to that eventually. I'm just in the Aquamarlite mode, so I'm gonna keep working on that. In terms of the audio-visual reading stuff that's keeping me occupied while I'm making, since I'm here in self-isolation and all that stuff, I started, first thing, I reinstated my Disney Plus membership, and I'm starting to watch all of the Pixar movies and Disney movies that I never watched. And so this is all to say that I watched Frozen for the first time. I watched Frozen, shortly followed by Frozen 2, and I cried throughout both of them. I think I'm just a crier anyway. I tend to cry whenever anything gets a little too emotional or anything. Like I will weep. I'm an empathetic crier. And yeah, I full on ugly sobbed. I get, now that I've seen both Frozens, I get it. I feel like this was like a work-related endeavor, because when you're working with children primarily, and they keep talking about all of these things, all of these movies, and I haven't seen them because I don't have kids. There would be no drive for me to go and see Frozen. Like, that's not, I'm not a huge Disney person, so it doesn't dawn on me to go and watch those. But yeah, so I reinstated Disney Plus, and I'm watching Disney movies under the guise that this is work appropriate things that I could be watching, because technically I'm still, even though I'm not at work, I'm still getting paid right now, up until I'm still an employee, up until April 12th. And then on April 12th, that is my official start of my temporary layoff. So after that, then I'm technically not an employee anymore, and so I shouldn't be doing any work or anything like that, which is really hard to do. But anyway, so watching Disney movies is my work right now. I'm gonna watch Onward, I think, soon. I'm gonna watch Onward, and then I'm gonna go through, watch a lot of Pixar stuff that I either haven't seen in a long time or just have never seen at all. So I'm gonna slowly work my way through. There's something about Disney movies right now. I'm Disney movie speed right now. I can't watch anything too intense. Kudos to anybody that can watch any kind of true crime or listen to any kind of thing. Even like freaking Tiger King. I watched 1.5 episodes of that, and I'm just like, nah. This is exploitative and gross and animal cruelty, and this guy's a predator, and no. The biggest predator in that whole god-awful series are the people. Not the big cats. It's the people. So, I don't know. I get the idea of watching a train wreck, like you just can't tear your eyes away. But for the love of God, people, tear your eyes away and stop sharing memes. Because they're monsters. They're monsters. You're celebrating monsters. You know that, right? Anyway, rant over. Yes. So other things I've been watching, I decided to start watching Battlestar Galactica from the beginning again. It's been a few years since I've watched Battlestar, so I'm doing that. Started with the mini-series, and I'm slowly working through season 1. That's been a great show, because I don't know, there's something I love. I mentioned this earlier, like, I love sci-fi shows. Like, I love Star Trek. I love all of the new weird sci-fi shows that come on the streaming services, sci-fi movies, all that stuff. I love anything to do with space and aliens and all that stuff, which is definitely, I'm an Aquarius, and I know that that's a trait of otherworldliness. So I love all that stuff. So I've been watching that. I've come back to listening to an audiobook that I was reading in print format last year, the year before. It's called Sourdough, and it's by Robin Sloane. And I am listening to it in audiobook format because I saw it come up on the audiobook app that I use, which is called Scribd. And I saw it pop up, and I'm like, oh, I should listen to that, because I read like probably about a quarter of the book, and then for whatever reason just walked away from it, probably got distracted by something else. And so it was a good way because I already knew what I was getting into, and I knew it wasn't going to be necessarily super crazy heavy. It wasn't going to be too taxing on my brain, which is not something that I can't read anything that's gonna hurt my heart or is too deep either. So a lot of the other books and stuff that I have, it's like I need to be reading things with magical realism. Like, that's where I need to live right now. But Sourdough takes place in San Francisco. Main character, her name is Lois. She's like in her 20s or in her 30s or something, and she works in the tech industry doing programming. And she's, living this pretty intense life of working like 18-hour days, coding these things for automatic robotic arm things for like manufacturing and stuff. So she her life is not very fulfilling. She's just doing her work and all this stuff, and her because she works all the time, she has no friends, she isn't eating very well or anything, and then she decides to order from this local, like, really independent takeout delivery place called Clement Sourdough and Soup, or Clement Street Soup and Sourdough. And so she was getting these deliveries, and these two very odd dudes with indiscernible accents delivering food to her. And the food is like life-changing for her, completely life-changing. And that's basically all she lives on is the soup and sourdough bread. And then the owners of the takeout place end up having to leave. So they leave the sourdough starter with her. So the whole story is kind of following her coming to terms with, career choices and all this stuff. But also it's about bread. So I felt like it was very fitting for this time in the world, in our lives, where so many of us are making bread. And I know I'm making bread. I'm not making sourdough. I'm making no-knead bread. The recipe I use is from Pinch of Yum. I'll make sure to link it down below. It's like a no-fail, no-knead bread recipe. It's great. And yeah, so it's just about this like magical sourdough starter that may or may not be alive in more ways than one. So I'm really enjoying it. The audiobook is great. The audiobook and the book itself, like the print format, they're really short. It's a short book. The audiobook is only 6 hours long. I'm really loving it. So I think I might go back. I'm gonna clean the kitchen, make my mini egg pancakes, and listen to sourdough. Yeah, I feel like, I don't know about anybody else, but like I've been having a really hard time reading. I'm trying to find like a book that I can really dive into, but it's not working. that easily. So I'm gonna finish listening to Sourdough, and then maybe that might give me a feeling of accomplishment that I finished reading a book. So maybe it may spur on some other stories that I want to get into. We'll see. But yeah, that's my check-in for today, for this week. I hope that you are all doing well, and that you're staying safe, and that you're staying healthy, and that you are finding ways to occupy your mind and your heart and your hands and your body. Yeah, I hope you're doing well, and if you're not, that's okay too. We all have up and down days. So yeah, I'll check in with you sooner rather than later. Keep being magic, everybody. We'll chat at you later. Bye.